Andrew, Standards & Poor has come out today and said that those inflation forecasts that are in the budget are too optimistic to think that it's going to fall from 7% right now to 3.5% in a year's time. Do you agree with that?
I'll get to that in a minute, but I just have to pull Bridget up on real GDP being negative. All of the GDP numbers that we talk about are real numbers and they're positive. So you can't deduct inflation from those numbers. The idea that real GDP is negative is just completely wrong and is a misunderstanding of the budget numbers. Now, on inflation, look, the government is forecasting inflation to go down from about 6% to a little over 3% next year, and then down to 2.75% the following year. And people should know that that is almost exactly in line with the Independent Reserve Bank's forecast.
But even if it is in line with the RBA, it is too optimistic. It's not going to happen, is it?
Look, I think it's pretty realistic. Like, those are numbers that the RBA has sense checked. It's their independent forecast. It's the independent forecast of the agencies across the federal government. And what it means is that inflation is coming down. We've already seen inflation peak this year. It's already on its way down. And this is a pretty steady trajectory over 2 years to get back to where inflation was a couple of years ago.
OK, well, just, Bridget, sticking with inflation, given the opposition is so concerned about inflation, do you think the stage 3 tax cuts should go ahead?
Well, Sharri, we're concerned about inflation because we know that if you are concerned about cost of living crisis for the whole economy, for everybody that lives in it, but especially concerned for the poor and the vulnerable, then getting inflation down is actually how you help them the most, because a high inflationary environment impacts the poor the most.
No, I understand, but do you think the stage 3 tax cuts are therefore appropriate, given they put more money into people's pockets and could contribute to inflation?
Well, absolutely, because one of the issues in a high inflationary environment is that your wage doesn't buy as much as it used to. And so making sure, and bracket creep, therefore, becomes more and more of an issue about how you actually use your money in the economy effectively to support your family. And so the stage 3 tax cuts are, in fact, an essential part going forward to ensure that Australians get to keep more of the money that they've earned and to be able to pay their mortgage and their fuel bills and their energy bills.
But they could be inflationary, though, would it? I mean, they would be. Of course they would be.
What is inflationary, Sharri, is the fact that since coming to power, the Labor Party has put an additional $185 billion on the budget bottom line. That's inflationary. What the RBA wants to see from this government is to get its fiscal strategy under control. And they haven't been able to do it. They are not dealing with the structural issues in the budget that have been outlined by their own left-wing leaning think tanks, such as getting the NDIS on a sustainable footing, aged care funding and the like. Instead, they've taken the axe to rural and regional Australia. They've taken the axe to infrastructure funding, which some economists are saying is completely the wrong strategy, given its productivity-enhancing work that the infrastructure budget does across our economy. So at every decision, this government is making decisions that won't reduce inflation and won't increase our productivity.